You are listening to Mind Over Me, the mental wellness podcast with me, Scott Carter. I am a licensed therapist and someone who is very mindful and aware of the decline in our collective. I created this podcast so that we could have more direct and honest about difficult topics, and it's my goal to have honest but direct conversations that we need to have. It's also my goal to give my listeners the information that they need in order to find their own mental health. And this is where you will find the information that you need to be your. And of course, all of this is based on years of clinical experience. Thank you for being here. All right, my friends, welcome back. Once again, this is Mind Over Me. This is the next installment. Welcome back. My name's Scott. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I am glad you're here. I'm wondering how you are doing. And I would bet that if you are here, you've been struggling. And frankly, that is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to struggle. Give yourself permission. You need to give yourself permission to struggle. You need to give yourself permission for not having it figured out. I feel like I have a lot of things when it comes to mental health figured out. Outside of that, I don't know jack shit. Like, I'm still like miles and miles away from where I would like to be, and I have come miles and miles from where I used to be. When you come a long ways, you look behind you and you go, oh man, I did that. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of me. And then you look ahead and you go, oh my God. Just have a long ways to go. It's important to learn to enjoy the journey, man. Love the journey. Because you get a lot of rewards and a lot of gains along the way. You just get a lot of gains along the way. I'm currently recording this particular episode just a few days before Christmas. The Sunday before Christmas is on a Thursday this year, so I'm recording this the Sunday before Christmas. I don't really do Christmas. I kind of stopped doing Christmas years ago. Frankly, there are just a lot of things about Christmas that I dislike, that I don't really like. I mean, for one, it's just too much. It's just too much of it. You almost kind of feel like, oh, you like Christmas? Well, here you go. And then they hit you with like a fire hose. And so me personally, and as a professional, I have a lot of goals and a lot of ambitions for the upcoming year. And right now, I am just wanting to show up every single day. I've talked about this in other episodes, that it's important for me to build my discipline right now. I've talked about this many other times. I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to repeat it, but discipline ended up sort of being my principle of the year, like the word of the year, the thing that I focused on this year, the thing that became the most important to me this year. And it's just being able to show up, right? Just show up every day. You show up every day, and you just show up. I used to get lost in all the thoughts and the worries and the shoulds and the supposed to be's, and is this going to work? Is this going to pan out? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And all that does is just derail me. So right now, I'm just trying to show up every single day. In the past, when I was recording podcasts, it was so hard for me to be consistent. I've just always had a struggle with just being consistent. So here I am, just showing up, recording on schedule. I had been kind of racking my brain most of the day, like for a topic for this episode. It's nothing. Usually I have something just off the top of my head, something that's been on my mind lately, something that I've just been thinking about. And today, not so much. And so I sat down about an hour ago to do some writing, do some reading, do some pondering, do some contemplating. And so in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to build a better relationship with yourself and some of the things that you need to do to improve the relationship with yourself. I have learned if you want good mental health, you need to have a good relationship with yourself. You can't have good mental health as long as you have a bad relationship with yourself. Although, I mean, those two things, right? It's a chicken or the egg situation. Do you have bad mental health because you have a bad relationship with yourself? Or do you have a bad relationship with yourself because you have bad mental health? I tend to think it's more so the first. Doesn't really particularly matter, but just a very, very firm believer that you're always going to have mental health issues as long as you have a bad relationship with yourself. It's my goal, as always, to give the best information that I can to put people onto the path, or what I call the path, in regards to getting the right, correct, and helpful information that they need in order to improve their mental health and to get better. And in this regard, frankly, I'm a mental health professional, I'm a therapist, and this is an area where I find that I'm an outlier. I never, ever, and I mean never, ever, ever, hear other therapists talking specifically about this. It's not a priority to other therapists that you have a better relationship with yourself. Trust me, this is not something that is discussed in school. They don't get any education on this. And it's not part of their ongoing education either. Therapists and other professionals, medical professionals, we're required to get ongoing education. For us, it's 20 hours a year, 20 additional hours every year. It's a requirement for keeping our license active. And I recently attended a 2-day mental health conference, and I also watched some of the sessions that I couldn't attend for additional credit. I think I got like 24 total hours out of it, so it was like super worth the money. I paid kind of a lot of money for it, and it ended up being really, really super worth it. And there were 2 or 3 really good ones that I thought were really solid from pretty solid people. The rest of it, frankly, I badmouth therapists and the therapy world a lot, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, should I hold it back? I don't know. My personal truth is that most of it was garbage. Most of it was useless, redundant, empty, pointless, waste of time. None of these therapists or other mental health professionals, because there's psychologists in there as well, none of them talk about things like self-esteem, self-worth, having a good relationship with yourself, identity. These are the things that I talk about a lot that I have found to be extremely helpful, extremely important, not only to me, but to my clients. And these things are extremely useful to helping them with their mental health, being mentally well. One of the main reasons why I harp on this is because it helped me feel better. It helped my mental health. I mean, truth be told, man, I was like about 20 years ago, my mental health was a mess. Like, my mental health was an absolute wreck. So a lot of what I share has to do with A, what has really, really helped me, and B, what also seems to help a lot of my clients. Again, my goal as a therapist is always, always, always for people to get better, feel better, like themselves better, just have a better experience in life. And because there is so much bad information out there, terrible information out there, it's my goal to just to provide clarity and good information and the right information and helpful information. So this episode is all about improving the relationship that you have with yourself. So I've got some notes. I jotted down some notes. I'm going to go through my notes. And before I kind of get into that, like at the end of the year, okay, it's the end of the year. 2025 is wrapping up. Personally, I have some important and big goals for the upcoming year. Stuff that I want to accomplish. Just things on the forefront of my mind. I'm going to keep those things close to my chest for now. But I did want to mention that currently I am building an anxiety course. Earlier this year, I was working on an anxiety course, and I got really deep into it and realized that I don't like it. This is not turning out how I wanted it to turn out. It's not the course that I wanted to build, and I just sort of abandoned the project. But again, for me, discipline has always been a struggle. As lately I've been getting much better with it, but discipline has always been a struggle of mine. So I abandoned the project. The last week and a half, 2 weeks, or a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I started a brand new one. I just started from scratch. I scrapped the old one and just started from scratch. I organized it. I came at it from a bunch of different angles, and I've been working on it. And it's the PowerPoint that I have so far has well over 100 slides so far. I'm not quite done. I'm probably about 85 to 90% done with the slides. And so far, I'm much, 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 much happier with the outcome on this one. I'm really a whole lot happier with how this course is turning out. This one is definitely doing a better job of capturing what it was that I really wanted to put in it. So in this course, right, this course on anxiety, I'm coming at the anxiety problem from a whole bunch of different angles, teaching a ton of tools, a ton of skills, and a ton of methods. They work. They work if you use them. Part of the course is about building new habits, unlearning things, learning new things, practicing things, creating new habits. These skills and tools work. I know they work because they worked for me. I used to be incredibly anxious. I believe I talked about this in the previous episode. I used to be incredibly, insanely anxious when I was younger. I had panic attacks, extremely, excruciatingly anxious. I'm no longer anxious. I'm living, breathing proof that anxiety can be solved and cured, or whatever you want to call it. I had originally hoped to have the slides done by right now. They're not. That's fine. And with the Christmas holiday coming up, I'm going to have a lot more free time on my hands. So a lot less therapy sessions this week. So I'm going to have some extra time to work on it this week. And I intend and hope to have those slides done here very, very soon. The next few days, I'm hoping. But anyways, that course coming soon. But at the time of recording this, I hope by this time next month it will be live. But I will announce it via this podcast as well as the other places that, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on X. So if you've really struggled with anxiety, stay tuned for that, because that course is going to be stuffed full of all sorts of ways to help you change what you're doing so that you're less anxious. Again, I've seen these work. I've seen these tools work, not just with me, other people as well. Lots of other people. I've taught a lot of these methods to teenagers as well as adults, and a lot of them are just very, 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 very effective. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be publishing that relatively soon. So stay tuned. Okay, let's dive into this topic. About how to build a better relationship with yourself. Stay tuned for the shadow work journal prompts at the end. Let's dive in. Just pulling from my notes here, okay? Actually, before that, I do want to drop down just a couple of foundational things. For me, good mental health is a lifestyle, okay? Think of it like getting into shape, okay? You don't get into shape and then quit, right? Because you're just going to go back to how you were. It's a lifestyle. Physical fitness, physical health, it's a lifestyle. Same with mental health and mental fitness. People will often ask me, like in regards to anxiety, for example, like how long is it going to take? How many therapy sessions is this going to take? And my answer often is, well, as many as it takes, bud. And it's in proportion to how much effort that you personally put into it. You don't show up to a personal trainer and go, how many push-ups do I have to do before I'm in shape? The answer is as many as it takes. The answer is, well, it depends on how much effort you put into it. It depends largely on you. Ultimately, you're the one who has to fix you. You're the one who's responsible. You're the one who's going to be able to make the biggest difference and the greatest impact in your personal situation. I think that is probably one of the ugliest lies about mental health these days, is that you need someone else to help you solve this. They are the solution. They are not the solution. You're the solution. And again, I go to this mental health conference, and I sit and listen to a whole bunch of therapists just spout what I think is total bullshit. So much of it is oriented around, oh, they need us and we're so needed, and they're helpless without us, kind of a tone. Sorry, cut it off accidentally. Like that has that sort of tone to it. One guy. Sorry, I'm going to digress on purpose. I have to get this off my chest. One guy asserted that you can't reliably ask people how they're doing, which is why we need to give them these questionnaires to fill out so that we can get a good idea of how they're doing and if they're improving. And give me a fucking break. Give me a break. What a crock of shit. I've never, ever had someone come in and I go, okay, well, how are you doing by now? How are you feeling? And I've never once had a single one of them go, I don't know. People know how they're doing. Give me a break. It drives me crazy. All right, seriously. Without further ado, number one, how to build a better relationship with yourself. Number one, get to know yourself better. Or get to know yourself extremely well. Know yourself inside and out. Most people, they don't know themselves. They don't understand themselves. They don't have a good handle on themselves, right? What makes you tick? What makes you you? What has formed you? What has shaped you? Why are you the way that you are, right? What has formed you? What has shaped you? I mean, at least up until this point, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. How is your insight? How's your awareness? Do you pay attention to yourself? Do you listen to your emotions when they pop up, when they force themselves in, or do you try to chase them away and say, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way"? So getting to know yourself better also includes some emotional intelligence. As a therapist, I can tell you that all day I listen to people say, "I'm not supposed to feel that way," and every time I'm like, "Yes, you are." And what I mean by that is that your emotions are there for a reason. There's a reason why those emotions are there. And understanding those reasons, why that emotion is there, is really going to be important. Of course, it depends on the emotion. What emotion are you feeling, first of all? And maybe I should do a different episode on emotional intelligence. But it's important to first clamp down what it is that you're feeling instead of trying to get rid of the emotion or like explain it away for some, people are just in this dirty habit of just trying to, I'm not supposed to be experiencing this emotion. What? No, that's not useful. That's not helpful whatsoever. Now, that's not to say necessarily that those reasons are true or valid. I'm going to throw therapists under the bus again on this one. Too many therapists are saying, oh, all of your emotions and your thoughts are valid. No, they're not. No, they're not. Sometimes some of them are valid, some of them are not, which is why we want to understand them better. Is this valid? Is it not valid? Anxiety is a special emotion. It's a special bad emotion. Like anxiety is there for a different reason than anger, for example. Anger is an important emotion. We should pay attention to anger. But in order to get to know yourself better, it can be very, very helpful to adopt a non-judgmental and observational approach, as well as a self-compassionate. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But taking on a non-judgmental, self-compassionate, observational approach, rather than buying into this critic that we have and the shoulds and the supposed to be's and the ought to be's. What you want to do is take an approach of like, well, I don't know why I'm feeling certain ways about certain things, so I want to understand it better. Getting to know yourself better is an ongoing thing. It's just an ongoing thing. Like there are layers, and when it comes to human beings, there are layers and layers and layers and layers, right? Ogres are like onions, but so are human beings. There's layer after layer after layer. For me personally, every time I've worked really hard to pull back and peel back a layer, guess what I found? Yes, you guessed it, just more layers. All right, so number 2. Now this one's a big one. In fact, when I was making these notes, I was like, oh god, that's got to be its own episode. But here it goes. Get the garbage out of your head. So I will do that as a separate episode. Initially, I thought I'll do it next week. Let's do that next week. Is get the garbage out of your head. And I thought, like, it's the end of the year next week. Next week's episode is going to be the last episode of the year. So what I'm going to do, I want to recap the year of the things that I learned that year, and kind of do a New Year's sort of thing a little bit. I'm not that big on New Year's, but I do like to use New Year's as a way to reflect and sort of reset, so to speak. But maybe in a couple episodes, hopefully, perhaps, unless something really important or pressing comes up, I'm gonna do an episode about getting the garbage out of your head. Now, just by virtue of living in this mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual meat grinder that we live in, as a friendly reminder, you're not supposed to live this way. This is not normal for us to experience life in this manner, or nor is it healthy. I know it's like, I think I mentioned this in the last episode. It's like when the fish are swimming in filthy water, we don't blame the fish. You clean the water. But now we're mostly in the blame the fish mode these days, that we're swimming around in gross, disgusting water, and we're sick from it. And then we're like, oh, well, get your shit together. We are constantly being bombarded with information, much of it conflicting. Frankly, our minds will struggle to make sense of it. There's so much contradictory messages, so many contradictory messages and information that just flies at us all the time these days. We just have so much influence. So many things that are trying to influence us, doing it deliberately, doing it on purpose. We just have so much junk and garbage in our heads. That comes in the form of negative beliefs and paradigm systems. Difference between a belief and paradigms basically is like, well, a belief is like a tree, and the paradigm is the forest. Anxiety is some of the crappiest crap in our heads. Anxiety is junk. It's not helpful. It's not useful. It's not going to help you. We also have negative self-talk. There's a ton of negative self-talk and us verbally abusing ourselves, mentally abusing ourselves, telling ourselves horrible things, saying horrible things to ourselves, placing unrealistic expectations onto ourselves. I mean, already it's right. I'm already building out notes here, mental notes for a full-length episode on getting the garbage out of your head. I think that will make a good episode down the road. So the things that we have so far on this list of getting to know yourself better and getting the garbage out of your head, that's already a tall order. Doing that stuff is going to take you a minute, okay? Give yourself permission to just work at it as you can. My recommendation is always, always, always to carve out time, and it doesn't have to be a lot of time, guys, only 5 to 10 minutes a day, to just self-reflect. Reflect on your day, reflect on your emotions, reflect on yourself. Just self-reflect. I know a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm spread so thin, I don't have time, I can't do that. If you scroll social media, if you doom scroll social media 2 hours a day at the end of the day, then don't give me that crap. You absolutely do have time. It has nothing to do with time. It has everything to do with priorities. You have machines that do your dishes. You have machines that do your damn laundry. You have machines that scoop your litter boxes and automatically feed your cat. You have time as long as you make it a priority. Okay, 5 to 10 minutes a day. All you just got to sit down and just be like, how are we doing? How are we doing? So these first two things are going to be kind of the majority of what I'm going to cover now for this episode. Because again, those two things, that's that's enough to kind of get you started. But let's finish it off anyways. Number 3, practice self-compassion. Learn to talk to yourself in a compassionate, kind way. Do not allow, this is kind of piggybacking off of the last point, but learn to not allow negative thoughts to hold space in your head. Don't beat yourself up. Okay? Don't tell yourself. By the way, you got to watch out for the ego. Like, there's so much of this going around these days too. But you got to watch out for the ego when the ego wants to say, be like, oh, I'm better than other people. This makes me better than other people. Okay, that's a dirty trick that we're seeing a lot these days from immature minds, people who have not really grown up. When you're insecure and you're immature and your ego comes in, is like, ew, I think I'm better than other people. You got to watch out for that little dirty trick that your mind's going to play on you. Don't jump on that one. You're not better than anybody else. I mean, you're special, you're unique, but you're not better than anybody else. I know most people who listen to this podcast are not going to be the ones who need to hear that. Moving on. So learn to practice self-compassion. Use the word practice on purpose, by the way. Number 4, practice solitude, healthy solitude. There's a difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation is horrible for your mental health. Absolutely horrible. Our phones isolate us. Social media isolates us, okay? Instead of isolation, seek solitude. Solitude is being deliberate, being intentional, being present, being self-reflective. I use my solitude time to read, write, meditate. Those are my 3 staples. Okay, and finally, number 5, because I'm going to wrap this up and then we're going to get into shadow work. Journal prompts, particularly, we're going to go back to getting to know yourself. That's the point of shadow work, is getting to know yourself. But anyways, number 5, that I did a whole other episode on this, so go back and listen to it if you haven't already. Face your pain. If you want a better relationship with yourself, you have to face your pain. Facing your pain is the way. That's how you release your pain. It's how you solve your pain. It's how you feel better about yourself. It's how you improve your mental health, is by facing your pain. Okay, stop avoiding it. Stop numbing it. Stop trying to chase it away. Stop trying to bury it. None of it works. None of it works. It will always catch up to you. It will always catch up to you. Okay, so those are just a few quick notes that I have on improving your relationship with yourself. I'm going to give an impromptu number 6. Be creative. Okay, creativity is so important. Explore creativity. Whatever your jam is, music or art. Maybe it's writing. It can be a number of things. Maybe it's gardening. Who knows? Be creative. Okay, build your relationship with yourself by also being creative and exploring creativity. Okay, there we have it. Some quick tips on how to improve your relationship with yourself. And we're going to, as usual, we're going to wrap this episode off. Wrap it up with some shadow work journal prompts. If you're new here, shadow work is a method that we use to do a deep dive into our psyche, into our subconscious, to get to know ourselves better so that we can understand our patterns and change our wiring and change. It's called the shadow because it's basically outside of your field of awareness. And each episode, I like to give shadow work journal prompts as it pertains to the topic of that particular show. Again, I recommend that if you're going to do the shadow work, it's best to do it in writing. So maybe get a journal or a notebook just for your shadow work. And of course, before I dive into them, a very, very quick disclaimer. I'm a therapist. I'm not your therapist. Use your own discretion when it comes to doing shadow work. Some people have a lot of stored away trauma and other difficulties that make shadow work very, very difficult. My shadow work is not for wimps. So use your own discretion, and you may want to find a good therapist to help you with it. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, let's knock these out, and then we'll wrap it up. Again, these particular prompts have to do with our first point here tonight, which is to get to know yourself better. Number 1, okay, why am I the way that I am. Now, it's easy to just be like, oh, genetics. That's it. Oh, because of genes. Duh. There is so much more to it than that, okay? What relationships, experiences, life path, or whatever has shaped you. Number 2, what are your general beliefs about your emotions? Good, bad, whatever. Do you see them as bad, wrong? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? How is your, let's do a number 3 here. How is your relationship with with your mind and with your emotions? Number 4, how do you feel about the notion of getting to know yourself better? How does that strike you? Like what comes up for you when I mention that? And finally, number 5, what fears do you have surrounding the notion of getting to know yourself better? What are you specifically afraid of when it comes to getting to know yourself better? Because that's usually what stands in the way of people is fear. They're afraid to get to know themselves better. So specifically, what is it that you are afraid of? What is it that scares you about it? And you know what? One more. Let's do number 6. Is there any reason to believe that getting to know yourself better would be a bad or negative thing? If so, why? Okay, there you have it. Thank you again for listening. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to follow me on X, my website, saltcitycounseling.com. Find me on YouTube, Salt City Counseling, though I'm not terribly active on it. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to tell a friend. Don't forget to listen. Next week, we're going to talk about the end of the year and then starting a new one. That's the plan for now. So, thanks again for being here. Always remember, you must do hard things.